Hello everyone, I'm Josh Freund from Cut Above Perfection and Sharpening. Just want to share a helpful hint and simple trick I use to show the hairstylists when their shears are getting dull. That's a typical question I get asked often by the hairstylists out there, and I developed a simple test you can do to see how dull your shears really are. So with this test, all we're going to do is take a single ply dry tissue, preferably one of a soft cellulose fiber content, usually a Kleenex brand or a Puffs brand, will give you an accurate test of how sharp your shear is. So all I'm going to do is simply take this shear or this Kleenex, pull it apart to single ply dry tissue. Before we do the test, we have to make sure the shears are properly adjusted. If the shear is too loose, it will not give a proper accurate test of how dull the shear is or how sharp it still is. So all we're going to do is we're going to hold the shear vertically at 12 o'clock. We're going to take the finger rest side as a counterbalance, and we're simply going to hold it up at 3 o'clock and let it free fall. Now if this blade fell all the way down at 6 o'clock, it's going to be too loose. It's going to want to fold the hair and you'll dull out your tips. But because this blade fell between 5 o'clock and 4 o'clock, that's perfect tension of most shears and most shear blades. Had this shear fallen between 3 and 4 o'clock, somewhere in here, it's too tight. The shear is going to want to push the hair along the cut, and that's no good either. So the sweet spot for most beauty shears and barber shears is between 5 and 4 o'clock on the drop. So now that we have it properly adjusted, we also want to make sure that you clean your blades free of any chemical residue that might be built up on there. That will also give you a false reading if you do this test with chemical residue or a hair particle. All I'm going to do is take a 91% or greater alcohol, rubbing alcohol, to spray the blades down, and use either a clean tissue or a chamois of some sort or a microfiber towel to wipe off any chemical residue off your blades. See, now that we know that the shears have loosened up slightly, we're going to adjust them just to give an accurate test. You can take an adjustment key, if provided by your company of shear manufacturer, to adjust this. Now we're properly adjusted. Another test to make sure they're not too loose is to put my ring finger in here, do a slight jiggle, and make sure that they're not flopping open like that. So this lets me know that they are not too tight, not too loose, to go ahead and do the test. Here we are on single ply dry tissue again. I've opened up the blades. I've disengaged my thumb because I want the blade's natural tension and pressure to cut through here. This will give me an accurate reading for most shears. So all I'm going to do is simply push down from the outside of the thumb blade, and it's letting me know that this shear is dull on the last 3/4 of an inch to the tip of the blades. That will cause pulling or failure in the cut. So this shear I know needs to be sharpened. I have another shear over here to do the same test with. We're going to check the adjustment. It's at 5 o'clock, that's great. It's not flopping open. And I'm going to proceed to do the same test I just did with the shear a second ago. Single ply dry tissue. I opened up the shear blades. I'm disengaging my finger out of the thumb hole, and I'm pushing down from the outside. And as you can see, there was no snagging or no pulling, and it cut a clean line through here. This lets me know this shear is not only properly adjusted, but still sharp enough. This is just a simple test you guys can use to see if your shears need to be serviced or not by a professional.